our favorite plays on the total sides, props, exotics, and futures to jump on now. So let's get it started with Jason and Ben. Let's get it started with Jason and Ben. Let's get it started with Jason and Ben. Subject som kräver konstnär konst felina. Let's get it started with Jason and Ben. Let's get it started with Jason and
Hey there. It is time to get it started. As I try to multitask here, and there we go. NBA Finals Game 2. Let me tweet that out. Thank you, Beltway Ben. This is WannaBet, a very special Game 2 of the NBA Finals edition. A little bit of a truncated version here. I don't think we'll get the fourth down in overtime, but we do have 3 downs coming up for you. Obviously, we made plays on the show throughout the week. A lot of time between Games 1 and Game 2. And again, Jason Lockenfor with Beltway Ben Hall, as always. A lot of these lines have moved, so we just want to take you through some of that line movement, where Ben and I were 2 or 3 days ago when these markets emerged, where we are now. We'll look at the spread, we'll look at the totals, and we'll look at the props. Before we get going, Ben, I do think the people, though, our most loyal listeners and followers, especially those who listen to us on the radio on 105.7 The Fan in Baltimore. Friday afternoon, Beltway Ben consumed a gallon of whole milk, although it really was more than just that, folks. It was 4 quarts, 2 quarts of whole milk, 2 quarts of chocolate milk, and he did that all within the 4-hour parameters of our afternoon drive radio show. He showed no ill effects of this. He powered right through it. And Ben, as I'm led to believe, you had a normal dinner Friday night. You woke up Saturday, no worse for wear, and here we are Sunday. You're fired up for the NBA Finals, and a gallon of milk in 3.5 hours did nothing to you.
Yeah, not a single thing. I felt good. I talked to Jason about it off the air, but when I was drinking the last one, and like you said, if it was 4 regular whole milks, I think I wouldn't have really been pushed, but I drank 2 chocolates and it was a little heavy. And yeah, I was able to do it. I didn't feel anything. Like I was after the fourth one, I was a little concerned, like that night, like, this might not be great. And I go home, felt regular. The next day felt regular. And now here we are today, very excited for this NBA Finals matchup, and feel pretty great. Didn't get much impacted by it.
It's amazing. You're an animal, Ben, and I mean that in the best way possible. So here we are. We're a little over a half hour before tip-off. We'll start first down with the lines. This thing opened originally after Game 1 at 9.5. We knew it would get to double digits quickly, and it did. It's now sitting here at OKC minus 11.5 with tip-off approaching. I wasn't super into the total for the game from the giddy-up. I figured it would rise really quickly if you did not jump on it and you were inclined to back the Thunder. Does this do anything for you now, Ben?
No, not much. I will be on the Thunder minus 11.5. I am playing the Thunder minus 11.5 and giving it out. We've talked about it. I think Game 1 they should have covered. I thought for most of that game they were going to. I mean, would they go up 14 in the fourth quarter and Carlisle calls a timeout, things change. I figured it would move up to this. What did it open at 9.5?
9.5. I saw it at 9.5. Like, I went to the app like right as Game 1 ended, and I originally saw it at DraftKings at 9.5.
Yeah, opens at 9.5, and you figure it will move at least 2 points. It's at 11.5 now. I will, like I said, we'll be playing it. Would give it out. I just at home, this team is to me still a better team than the Pacers. I could not possibly see this team losing 2 at that arena where everything changes. They have the advantage there. It's like a college environment. We talked about it on Friday. I don't see anything going wrong here for them. I think they're going to get after it from the jump. That's why we have a few early plays that we like, first half, first quarter, all of those types of things. But I think this offense is going to get it going. And then defensively, I mean, the Pacers, we talked about it with Tim on Friday. When they went on that run, Andrew Nembhard dribbling it out, giving SGA a step-back 3 that he hits. Bankin 3 they hit from the side. Obi Toppin, after looking like he wasn't built for the game in the first few minutes that he was in, all of a sudden going for 17. Like, I will be playing his under as well, 10.5. We'll get into the props a little later. But I don't think that all of the things that went right for the Pacers will do that again. They were losing the entire game. Halliburton knocks down a clutch shot because he can do that. I don't think the Thunder are going to give them a chance to go on a little run like that late. I think it'll be a blowout. I think we see some bench guys in the final 4 or 5 minutes in this game, and I think they cover.
You mentioned the first half, and I do love the first half. I grabbed the first half, OKC -6.5. You were paying a little premium on that at the time at -130, and that was right around when the line was at 10. It's now again moved up to 11.5. And boy, Ben, they really want you to pay for it now. It's 8. It's 8 in the first half. So this is how I would play that now. If you're like me and you've done the research and you're looking at an OKC team at home in the playoffs that has a 121.2 offensive net rating and a 90.8 defensive net rating, those are both first in the NBA. 30.5 net rating overall during the playoffs, first half at home. Next best team is Indiana at 16.9. You're looking at that assist to turnover ratio. You're looking at how much they handle the ball and force other people to turn it over because it is the Thunderdome. Like, you look at them, they're plus 15.2 in the first half at home in the playoffs, 10-game sample size. Indiana on the road, -2.3 is their average scoring margin on the road first half in the playoffs. But that 8 might still feel like a lot to you. The other way I would think about playing this, Ben, is, okay, if you think, okay, you're still going to be fast starters, but maybe you're thinking the Pacers can keep this closer to 6 than 10, right? And that 8's right in the middle. What about OKC over 59.5 in the first half, right? Like, they average 61 per game at home in the first half. And we think we're going to get the best of them that we ever get. Like, I kind of think I like that a little bit more right now than laying the 8, even though I would point out in their 10 home playoff games, they have led by 8 points or more at the half, has OKC, in 9 of those 10. Do you have any thoughts on taking the first half team total rather than laying the 8? Because, again, they're making you pay almost 3/4. I mean, we know the game's cut in half. They're making you lay 8 on 11.5.
Yeah, a little bit before we started this, I was looking and I'm like, the 8.5, I stayed away from, but I did play the 59.5 points. You look at their 3 losses coming off the 3 losses in the playoffs, 87 in their first one after the Denver game, which reminded me a lot of this first NBA Finals game where you have Gordon hit the game-winning shot. Nobody thinks they have a chance. And then there was game 2 of that Denver game. It was an odd first quarter. They only scored 42. But then the other one that they lost, they scored 60. So they're over this in 2 of 3 coming off of a loss. I just think I keep saying it, and you can look at a lot of different numbers, but I just think this is going to be different for them where they know how crucial it is that they handle business in this game. They have to score points. Indiana, again, a team that was not very good defensively last year. They've taken strides this season, but they still don't have many guys that can guard with what OKC has. I think the Thunder are going to come out. First quarter I saw was 29.5. I like that too. I think it's going to be from the jump, from the tip-off, getting after it, scoring, SGA getting to the free throw line. We know he plays most of the first quarter. And I'm interested to see the starting lineup. I got an update that it came out. I haven't got to look at it yet. But I think they're probably going to go small again to start. Not sure if I like that, but even with that, they sub Hartenstein in, 5-6 minutes. Hartenstein doesn't get enough credit for what he provides to them offensively. I mean, a good assisting big. He doesn't cry for the ball. He gives them offensive rebound. They're going to need to be better on the glass, which is important in this one. So, yeah, I like them over 29.5 in the first quarter, and I also like them over the 59.5 in the second.
In terms of the totals, this thing opened lower than the last game. This opened around 226. It's now at 228.5 for the game total in a lot of places. I went over in the first game and got burned. I do like the over here. I haven't played the over. What I did play earlier in the week is OKC over a alt team total of 117.5. To get that 117.5, now you got to pay close to 2-1. So what I would do at this point in time is play the OKC over 118.5. Look around. You can still find that in the -140 range, which is still an alt number because 120.5 is the number for the game. But if you skew a little bit more conservatively like I do, I kind of like this a little bit more. They've scored 118 or more in 16 of their last 20 at home, in 8 of their last 12 at home. I do think they score over 120, but crazy things happen in the finals. We saw that game 1. So the play that I would make now is OKC over 118.5 around minus 140. What are your thoughts on the total?
Yeah, I decided to stay away. We saw the fourth quarter teams combined for 60 points, and a big reason for that is Oklahoma City kind of sitting on the ball and Indiana running and gunning, scoring 35, outscoring them by 10 in the fourth quarter. I was looking at a team total here in Indiana, 108.5, and I'm leaning to the under then. I will be playing it at that. I keep talking about I just think this game is so out of hand that we see backups, and I think Oklahoma City is going to handle them in this game, first half to not. Last game, 45 points for the Pacers in the first half. Again, this was a time where we thought the game was over.
Yes.
No chance they come back. And that 35-point fourth quarter changed everything. I know Indiana is awesome, and they love coming from behind. They love impressing people and proving people wrong. But I think they got to be a little realistic here and look at this as we took one in Oklahoma City. If things are way out of hand, we are fine punting a little early if it's clear we can come back. This is not a team that should be punting regularly, but if they're down 20 plus in the fourth quarter, would not surprise me to see Carlisle pull the starters there. They're already dealing with an injury on depth with Jarris Walker, who's probably going to be out the rest of the series. So I like Indiana's team total under 108, but the game total I just decided to stay away from because, again, the fourth quarters are just a little weird to me.
All right, how about in the prop market, Ben? That is where you do a lot more of your gambling than I do. Any updated props for you like close to tip off?
Yeah, Pascal Siakam over 25.5 points and rebounds at minus 120. He cleared this in game one with 29. And scoring-wise, if you look back to all of their Eastern Conference final games, 17-39, 17-30, and then 15-31. First game finishes with 19. Should have scored 20. Couldn't knock down a free throw for us when we needed it to. I did have him over the 19.5. But I'm adding to rebounds to this. He had 10 rebounds in game one. And I like this scoring matchup for him heading into the series just with Chet. I think Pascal, a little skinny, but he can use his body.
Yeah.
He works into guys and can handle his own. 25.5. Halliburton, again, we're going to look at that shot. And as impressive as it was, he finished the game with 14 points. And his line here is 16.5. Like, nobody's expecting a big game from him. They're going to need scoring from somewhere. Even with how I think this game goes, I like Pascal Siakam to score. I mean, even if he does finish with just 18 or 19, I think he's going to grab the boards that they need him to. Because, I mean, Hartenstein, if he's not on the court as much, then Pascal Siakam is grabbing a ton of boards. And Hartenstein can go over his rebounds. I know you're going to talk about in a second with playing however many minutes. But when he's not on the court, Siakam's boards come a lot easier. And then the other play that I did have was Jalen Williams over his rebounds and assists at 10.5. It's now at 11.5 at minus 111. I got it at 10.5, gave it on Friday at 146. Over in all 9 home playoff games prior to game one, and Oklahoma City is going to be better scoring the basketball. There's just no doubt. You talked about it in our stream the other day, but how bad they were inside scoring. They're comfortable letting Jalen Williams bring the ball up the floor. He's also usually aggressive on the glass. Had just 4 boards in game one. I do expect more from him there. And fourth quarter, if they can score what they do and get pulled out early, I'm still confident he'll go over it if he doesn't play the final 5-6 minutes of this game. So I like him over his rebounds and assists. I like Siakam over his points and rebounds. And I talked about it before, Obi Toppin 10.5. And I know we see a lot of NBA trendy things in the playoffs. I like his under here. He just looks stunned when he first comes in. I'm like, oh, Carlisle's not going to have him on the court for a while. And all of a sudden, the guy's knocking down threes, getting buckets. I don't expect that today. I think OKC's defensive pressure is going to turn up a little bit more late. It was good early. They forced all those turnovers early. Didn't really get a ton of points off of it, 19. I do think that they get after it full game here and run them out of the building. So those are the props, the under there. But for you, I know you've talked about it before. Isaiah Hartenstein, what do you like there?
Yeah, I do still like it. Now, you can't get the 6.5 that I got for, I think it was about minus 125 over 6.5 right after the last game. But like right now, I like 9 rebounds plus for Hartenstein at plus 155. Like, again, this guy is top 5 in the NBA in the postseason. Of all players who've played in multiple playoff series, he's top 5 in the NBA in rebound percentage. He grabbed 27% of the rebounds on the court during the last game when he played. That's a ridiculous number. He's at 16% for the playoffs. That's a pretty ridiculous number. He's averaging 10 rebounds per game in the playoffs. Like, you look at what he's done against Indiana. Earlier in the season, he got hurt in a game, only played 14 minutes against them, still got 5 rebounds. He had 13 in the other regular season game. He obviously had 9 in just 17 minutes in game 1. Last year with the Knicks, he had 19 and 9. You go back to the last series, Mitchell Robinson, kind of an approximate player, a guy he's very close to and talks to, former Knicks teammate. Mitchell Robinson was consistently getting at least 6 a game and 9 in a lot of those games against Indiana. I don't think he'll need a lot of time to make his impact felt. And I still think that, whether he starts or not, that there's going to be an understanding that when we need to cut down on second chance points and we need to control the boards, Hartenstein needs to be in there. And maybe that becomes they build a big lead and then he gets big because he doesn't want to give Indiana the second and third chances. So I do still like that prop. I do still like that prop quite a bit. Like if you want to just play it over 6.5 now, it's -175. Like that's just not my cup of tea anymore. But I would go up to the 9 for +155 and dabble with that a little bit. I lied. I do have a 4th and down. Why do I always say 4th and down? 4th and long. I'll get it right one day. I did put a little bit of money on this, Beltway Ben, sitting at a doubleheader today. Travel baseball doubleheader. Those tend to be long days. A lot of time between games. This bet plays 8-1. It's the series to end in 6 games and the exact winner of each game. So we obviously already know Indiana game 1. So Indiana, OKC, Indiana, OKC. So those would be your winners. So basically OKC wins tonight. OKC wins game 3 in Indiana. They lose game 4 in Indianapolis, and then they take care of the next 2 and win in 6. Does that do anything for you?
Yeah, I like it. I do think they're going to win the next 2, and Indiana's going to have to take 1 at home, and it wouldn't surprise me to see it go that way, and then OKC kind of adjust and handle business. I do like that, and the odds you sent me, when you sent me, and I was looking at it like, oh, that's actually interesting. I do like that. And also like just the main thing there is game 4, Indiana winning, adjusting at home. OKC goes in after taking game 1. I think Indiana can do it. So that does intrigue me a little bit.
We do see that zigzag. I mean, some people are religious about the zigzag and they overplay it in their NBA playoff betting. Like, I think they become zealots to it. But that there is usually at least a part in a series where it kind of starts to fit that a little bit. So we'll see. Anything else you have to add, Beltway Ben?
No, should be interesting. I don't see a way that the Pacers take tonight, but as I've said throughout the whole series, this team just continues to shut me up and prove me wrong. And if they do, I saw a stat, teams starting 0-2 in the finals, how bad they are. So if Indiana takes this game tonight, OKC is in major trouble because they don't have the crowd to rely on in Indiana. Things are going to change there. You're not, and I know NBA refs are all fair. You're not going to get the same whistle in Indiana. It's the NBA finals. Maybe we see a little bit of adjustment if they're down 0-2 in game 3, try to get SGA to the free throw line a little bit more because the NBA doesn't want the series going quick. But if they lose tonight, the series to me is all but over.
Yeah. I have a hard time thinking that they don't treat this first half like their hair's on fire and try to score 70-plus points in the first half and run these guys out of the gym, at which point I think Carlisle, to your point, backs off, lives to fight another day. We held serve there. And on we go. We're going to have a great week again at Wanna Bet this week. Our buddy Eric Casillas will join us on Monday. As always, hopefully we get his Discord up this week. That's going to be awesome. Top handicappers from all over the country, one spot. You can find everybody. EK will tell us more about that on Monday. I don't want to jinx him, but I believe EK so far has a perfect record when he comes on with us. So you definitely want to tell him. My friend Kate Constable from the BetMGM Network will join us Tuesday. She's a WNBA expert. She will get us going a little bit more on our WNBA betting. And then on Wednesday, Pam Maldonado from ESPN, who is as good as it gets with golf and tennis. Not that she's not great on other sports as well. And I do want to pick her brain about her Texas Longhorns. But we got the U.S. Open golf kicking off. She'll get us set for that. She'll look at some tennis futures with us, and then we'll obviously be hardcore banging away. Game 3 of the NBA Finals, NFL futures, college football futures, daily MLB. We've got you all covered, and we'll be back at noon on Monday, hopefully cashing some tickets.